Well, I said last week that I was potentially going to do the Backwash album today, but unfortunately there has become a more pressing need. There has come a more pressing need, and it is Forever Howlong. Now, here's the thing. Black Country New Road, very exciting group, have lost their main songwriter, or their main lyricist at least. So is it going to be exciting anymore? Who can say? Now, some of us listened to the Live at Bush Hall live album that they released in between that happening and now. And so we have some level of understanding of what the new version of Black Country New Road is going to be like. For my money, it's a more exciting prospect. It's got multiple lead singers. It's got a variety of instrumentation. Well, it always did, but it's also got a variety of song styles in a way that I think the other, especially after after the first album, that wasn't really the case. I'm not a massive fan of the big old album Ants From Up Here. I'm an okay fan of For the First Time. Ants From Up There, not Ants From Up Here, for me is just too much darling, and also just too much wallowy solipsism. Whereas I thought, as they started to branch out into other things on the Live at Bush Hall, while a lot of them I wasn't a massive fan of, and I haven't gone back to it, I thought it was more interesting. I thought it just had more going on. So let's hope that we've got something like that here. Let's see, Besties. Okay, alright, fine. Harpsichord, we've got harpsichord. That's great. It's giving a very old style, Baroque kind of feel. Let's just have a bit more of an analysis of the key and such like. Okay, so we're here, aren't we? F major, but then it immediately goes down to C major with two passing chords there. No, maybe not quite. No, sorry. Okay, so the main thing is we've got this note coming out on every offbeat, and then the chord is just descending while that stays in the same place. Dum, 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 dum. And then we get the same thing again, but up a bit. Okay, this is very classical at the moment, not really Baroque, but the feel of it is Baroque because it's harpsichords, but they wouldn't be doing this kind of movement as far as I am familiar with the styles. It sounds more classical, more Mozart-y. Yeah. Okay. So that happens. And then we're up there, I think. I think the third is actually on top here. So it's actually more like that. And then something up there. Ah, that's where the note changes. Okay, so we still get ba-da-da in the bass, and that ostinato note moves up. Gosh. Actually, the ostinato note stays where it is, but this starts going between 2 notes rather than 3, so we get this kind of this more minimalist sort of phasing between the parts. Yeah, and then same thing again. It moves up even further. Ostinato note is still the same, and then while that's doing that, we've got ba-da-da, our first chromatic movement. We're still more or less in the same place, but we've got that chromatic movement there. 4 sharp 4 5, while we're just doing an F chord there, and before that it was like an F6 chord, I guess, in the other, but with 4 3 2, so that's B flat is more of what we're getting there. All of those notes together make B flat, but then we go down to G minor, I guess. G minor 7. Yeah, well, so we're keeping in the same key, but playing around quite considerably with each individual state of the chord, right? So every single time we're moving to a different chord, straight from the beginning. We have a very short time on each one. That kind of thing. And then yeah, fun. It's also nice that slight pull up at the beginning. The beginning doesn't quite start as fast as the rest. That's very stylish and sort of lets you wait and then brings you into the frenetic rhythm. Yeah, we've got more going on. There's an E flat there, so that is really bringing us into a slightly different place of like an F7 chord. Same kind of things going on, and we've got basically repetitions of 3. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then we go into these 2s and 3s at the same time. So we have 1 2 3 1 2 3, while this is 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, and you can fit 2 sets of 3 into the same time as 3 sets of 2. So that's what's working here now, and it gives this very sort of I don't know, exciting rhythm. It's almost like a ragtime kind of thing. Okay. Wow, we did settle into something there, didn't we? Yeah. So no, well, that's not what it is. But anyway, we're ending at E flat, and then the E flat is our new ostinato note. Doing that kind of thing, and we're just settled on that. Okay, so suddenly, after all this crazy movement, yeah, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then it sounds like we're going to somewhere else almost immediately. Let's see where that is. Am I too loud? Yeah, that's very loud. Is waves on? No. Okay. It's just too loud then. Maybe we just take that level down. That's more like it, isn't it? Okay, alright. Okay, so what's going on? So yeah, we finished in E flat and then we're starting G flat, if you like. G flat. And we've still got this downwards 3, da, 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 but now we're at a much more pedestrian pace. And we've got that particular extra bit of melody. Also, the saxophone is there, isn't it? Yeah, and I think the violin is just giving us this offbeat note. Da, 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 just right up at the top of the texture of everyone. Yeah, so from that chord. No. Is it that? No. Is it that? I guess a little bit of that. Yeah. Oh yeah, so it's one of our tertiary shifts. Now, I came up with names for all the tertiary shifts last night because I'm so into them. Love a tertiary shift, I do. Now, when we've got, yeah, what's it? So it's going down a 4. No, so it's a tertiary shift. It's going down a third. Going down a major third from a major chord to a major chord. So that is the epic unicorn. I don't quite like the word epic, but it is what it is, right? It's got that epic prog rock feel, that particular chord change. Yeah, so we've got a lot going on really. That we've got the 2 melodies. 3 melodies really. We've got this descending bass figure, which continues on. Yeah, just doing exactly the same thing, but down a major third. And then we've got the sung melody, which is very similar to that, but with a couple of extra notes. And then we've also got the saxophone melody, which is up on F sharp, pretty high for an alto sax, I guess. It's not that high, like it can go much higher. Yeah, it's really it's interesting, but it's up here because they're down here, and then it actually just jumps down an octave because the others have moved down to the D's, so there's space for it. And it's got this really interesting offbeat rhythm, and what does it do with it? Okay, it's actually a pretty simple melody line. It's just offbeat, and that's just minor pentatonic right there. And we have the second of well, if we were in F sharp minor, which we're not, maybe an F sharp major. But anyway, we've got that D chord. So we're using an unconventional pentatonic scale over a D or over a B minor, which is it's an interesting thing to do. It's an interesting way to make pentatonic feel quite quite neat, quite different to how it normally sounds, and it's really good anyway because it's a contrapuntal texture. We've got 2 melodies really. Yeah, I did say 3, but 2 of them are basically doing the same thing. So yeah, 2 different melodies, and they are just interweaving. One is really on the beat and the other is really off the beat. Yeah, it's more off the beat than that, but yeah, you can hear it, you know how it goes. Okay, so we have the same kind of thing, but now we're in a different place again. We went from here to here to G. So let's forget that we were in G flat. Let's call it F sharp because it's the same. And then we went to D, and then we went via a perfect cadence, or down a 5th at the very least, to G major. And we're doing the same thing with 2 of those lines. Let's hear the more interesting saxophone line. What's it doing? Okay, not too much that time. It's still keeping its distance from the others, but not so much distance this time because it comes down to that A, and then they move away from the A. They were G and A together, like that, and then they move away, just like chopsticks. Yeah, it's really pretty clever. I wouldn't say I'm massively emotionally feeling it at the moment, but there's definitely some very interesting deliberacy to it. Okay, so now everything's moving together. We've got the melody and the bass moving like that, while the saxophone is actually lower now, moving in thirds. Okay, are we going where we would expect? To D? We'll see. No, of course not. To F. So we were. It's a pretty cool change. Let's call this an A chord. We've used the same epic tertiary shift to get to epic. Do we really want to call it an epic unicorn? Why is it a unicorn? Because it's so sharp. But it's not. It's really bringing the flats, if anything. So maybe just like an epic griffin. Griffins have sharp talons, so no, it doesn't work. What's a really flat mythological creature? I don't know. I'll think about it. Okay, so this is very like the beginning. We're back in the same key as we were in the beginning. And we've got this kind of downwards movement. Let me just find that exactly. I wanna be anywhere else. Yeah, I imagine there's a capo on for this. Basically what's happening. It's again moving down in thirds on the beat with one other note on the offbeat being held, and we're back in F major. But interesting, isn't it, how we've completely changed texture? We had harpsichord at the beginning, then we had the full band texture, but we were somewhat missing guitar from that, and the guitar has come through now, and we've just got the guitar and the vocals. And the vocals are doing something more complicated as well. Friend waving at me, I wanna be. Okay, I think something just changed. Let's hear it. I wanna be anywhere pentatonic things in the expected major pentatonic to go with this F, so I don't think there's too much to see there.
My best friend waving at me.
We've got a swing time feel though, haven't we? Da 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 da, which is the first time we've had that. It was very, very straight for the harpsichord, and it was straight after that, but in a slower feel. Now we've got a semi-quaver, swing, which is lovely.
I wanna be living with you.
Wow, okay, things are going a bit crazy there, but the main thing is we're going up to E flat, and because we're keeping quite rigidly to that pentatonic melody, we can't go up to the E flat, it's not in the key. So we have that nice seventh like dissonance, and then they're both moving down a third, slightly dysregulated or not in sync with each other, but they're both moving down a third and they're a seventh apart, so we get that kind of thing. So we get those interesting clashes, but because we've got the extra notes in the chord and all of this is very consonant, we don't feel those clashes as really, really aggressive just by themselves. Until shortly after that,
I wanna see my best friend waving at me. I wanna be living with you.
yeah, so that's what we get. That's it. So this is presumably a passing note, maybe back to F. We'll see. Let's see it in context.
Living with you, seeing it through.
Seeing it through again. We're just in the pentatonic with the melody, and then the flute has come in, which is nice.
Seeing it through.
Sorry, flute. It's the saxophone. It's always the saxophone with these guys. Doing the same melody but up an octave. What does the guitar do?
Seeing it through.
Okay. So we got that, and then we got that. Which is sort of taking us back to F, but it feels weird, doesn't it? It feels like we've got two separate things. The seeing it through, very positive, major sixth sounding, whereas this one's got the flat 2, the flat 3. So there aren't any standard scales that use those notes together, so we feel like we've really departed from the previous comfortability texture. Yeah, and the guitar part is using that sixth as well. And we go ba da da, which is sort of like the darker version of this 3-note thing coming down. Because normally what's happening is it's going da da da, so we get the semitone first, then the tone, so it feels like 8 7 6, very nice. But this one, we get the tone first, then the semitone, so it feels like flat 3 flat 2 1, Phrygian kind of feel rather than a major kind of feel. Yeah, interesting difference. And it sounds like we're about to completely change where we were again.
Do you want?
Yeah. But it's actually going back to a normal major F. We're just bringing in the rest of the band. We've got the harpsichord in, we've got the drums in, and we've got the saxophone in. And the bass.
Forever, how long can I play?
Forever How Long? They said the album title.
It's a song. I'm gonna read something that's good, but I listen to you.
But I listen to you. It's a nice line. It is still bound by the It is still bound by the thing. By the pentatonic though. Now, here's the thing. I do kind of think it's sensible for a lot of melodies to stick to simple scales, rather than to go with the harmony, which might well be particularly complicated underneath them. If you have a simple melody, you can make much more complicated melody harmonies to go with it, and you can control them a lot better. That doesn't, though, make the melody itself more interesting. The melody itself will always be what it is. Yeah, and, well, this isn't that much more interesting anyway. We've just got that bum, bum, bum that we got from the beginning back in this time. We didn't have that the first time, even though everything else has been moving how we expected it to from the beginning. So we get those, and then we get the 4. The first time we had that thing then, didn't we? But this time we've gone from the 4 to the yeah, that chromatic line up with some chords appropriate to it. Yeah, it's really not doing much with those chords actually. I think it's more like we've got something like that arpeggiated over the top, maybe just those 2 notes. And those 2 notes to some degree work with all these chords. We've got a major 7th kind of feel there. We've got a half diminished kind of feel there, especially with that extra note. And then we've got second inversion major feel there. So they all kind of make some understandable sense with the chromatic line in there.
I'm not asking much, just enough.
Okay, interesting texture change there, wasn't it? As we got to the E flat bit. We went just to harpsichord and sax, what was it? Let's hear it again. No, there's a guitar in there too. In fact, it's bass. Bass is up, bound there. The guitar is there. A bit of a honky kind of duck sound on the guitar, which is fun. And the sax isn't there, and the harpsichord's up another octave.
Fill my cup, get me up.
Okay, this is interesting. Now we've gone to B flat. And yeah, now we're just there. We've got that downwards thing there, but then it doesn't go and repeat it this next time. What does it do?
Fill my cup, get me up. You make me love, babe.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like we've got about 5 or 6 chords.
Fill my cup, get me up. You make me love, babe.
Yeah. So B flat. This, which is basically F7, G minor, C major, unexpected, F7 again, B flat again, and then we're going somewhere else. So in the first 80 seconds of this, we've had a harpsichord intro, we've had a R's intro, with the whole band. Then we've had the first verse, which was just guitar and vocals mostly. Saxophone came in towards the end. Then we had the second verse, which was just more of a full band thing going on. Then we had this brief, well, the continuation of the second verse, doing something slightly different that we didn't get on the first verse, and admittedly we could think of another section in between the first verse and the second verse, which we didn't get that second time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with this section. 7 different sections in the first 80 seconds. You could say that two of those sections are the same because we've got two verses, but they are treated in quite a different way. They have the same harmony, they have some of the same melody, so it's understandable to treat them in a similar way, and they have the same structure except for those ending parts. So yeah, anyway, the truth of the matter still stands, which is that we have a lot of crazy stuff going on here. I might just close this because we don't need that, do we? We can just have the nice big titles and such like. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Very adventurous. Very adventurous. And we've also had myriad key changes, haven't we?
You make me love, babe, yeah.
Okay. Okay, alright, fine. That's not as crazy as I thought it was going to be then. For this section, we've really just got something on the end. That C major is interesting though, because like if we're in B major, which I guess we could be, though we're fleetingly there, that's a chromatically altered supertonic chord, so it's giving this boost of major energy, and leads us as a secondary dominant 5 there, the F chord, which then brings us back to B flat in a very conventional classical way. Well, I guess you would get it in classical times. And then we go to E flat, which does feel like the 4 here, even though we've done a chain of that if we had sevenths on all of those chords, on the chain of fifths there, the circle of fifths, it might well feel like a 1, but it doesn't really. After the G minor, it feels like we're not quite there yet. It feels like this is just a waiting place, that E flat. Okay, interesting. So we're back in this F sharp kind of place. Yeah, E flat. I want to call it G flat, but we keep crossing over the boundary between enharmonic changes, which is fun. Not something I get to talk about a lot. We're back to this R section that we had at the beginning, but instead of the melody in the vocals doing those R's, it's actually doing something much more similar to what the saxophone was doing. Right? Let's hear that again. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. So something like that. So it's going through that that pentatonic scale, just like the other one did too. Yeah. And it's really funny because we've got so many threes. It's really in 3, this song. A very slow 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Because it's in that, these melody lines are not the conventional length, right? Let's see how it works. So, in fact, that arguably is the conventional length, that one, because it's I know what's expected of me, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Right? So that's a 4, but we've got a 3 underneath. So the two things don't really feel like they stick together in the most straightforward manner. And then that Besties night and day, that is a 3. But it's because we had a 4 before it. It's juxtaposed in a slightly uncomfortable position. I know what's expected of me, besties night and day. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and then remember when I said he shouldn't treat you, which is the longest of all of them, isn't it? Remember when I said you couldn't reach him. So that's basically 5 long, because that first one is day, isn't it? But then we do have the rip just on the end of that. Day, remember when. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So we have 3 different phrases, and we're doing 3s. But we're actually doing 4 sets of 3, and the 3 phrases fit irregularly over the top. We have a longer than expected one, an as expected one, and then an even longer than as expected one.
That way, and are you sure? I know I want something more.
Yeah, similar kind of thing here.
I said he shouldn't treat you that way, and are you sure?
Yeah, so where are we? Yeah, we're in G. Back when I know you saw. Right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, makes sense.
I know I want something.
Yeah, I know I want something. Is that an A? Unexpected.
Way, and are you sure? I know I want something more.
It is an A, but it's one of these like G on A chords, which I really do like these chords. But yeah, so that's it's like half of the chord just stays where it was. Oh yeah, because I remember we did have something. We had that last time, didn't we? There, and it did feel like the chord was just stuck in some limbo while that was happening. I promise I'm not just post hoc rationalizing that. I did think it at the time. I just wasn't sure about my own convictions.
That way, and are you sure? I know I want something more.
Yeah, so this time something more. That phrase really continues a bit more, doesn't it? So it's more like a 4 and a 4 this time. Yeah, it's interesting to do it that way. It might just come from writing the poetry so that it occurs, in conventional beats. But that isn't really how it feels anyway. But it can sometimes be that there's a mismatch between the lyrics and the music in terms of scansion. And that often leads to the most interesting music. Yeah, so there's that bum, 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 bum.
And what about you?
We're back to F. So hopefully this is going to be like the other verse, except we've got a stronger saxophone line, maybe going to give us a counterpoint.
In fact, don't answer that. Wouldn't want it any other way, 'cause this feels.
Yeah, sounds like that's what we're getting. That's pretty much like the downwards line though, so it's not too crazy. Not too crazy. Seems very similar.
Bestie girl, take it back now.
Oh, what are the drums doing? I haven't thought about the drums.
'Cause this feels. Bestie girl, take it back now.
Yeah, the drums are doing 2s really. They're going bum, So that means that their 2s go against the 3s. So we've got 2s and 3s at the same time, really, through there. The melody is a little more, intense, because we're going over more of the harmonic spectrum here.
Bestie girl, take it back now.
Yeah, still using the same scale, which I now realise, is not the same pentatonic scale we have in the other section in the other key. That would be quite exceptional if they'd used the same one. As it is, I think it works quite nicely as is, so I'm not picking holes in that. But this we're going up into those higher ranges, up to a D there. Still not super high, but it's just higher than it was before, so it has that brightness, that freshness to it.
What you feel is the hole in your life, and she's probably right. She's probably
Similar texture to the last time there when it went to that E flat, but we don't have the honky guitar this time. We've got some mandolin in here. Don't let it go unnoticed. It's very low mandolin, but it's unmistakable mandolin. Yeah, yeah. I'm a little bit ill, I think. I'm finding that quite hard to listen to with the back and forth between the chords there, but I'm going to put myself through it again. Yeah, because we've got some things doing threes and some things just going doing twos, so they get out of sync with each other. Yeah, annoying. Not actually very pleasant to listen to, in my opinion. Not a very interesting thing to do. I don't think it serves the song. I don't know if there's a particular lyrical feature which would say that it was necessary or worthwhile, but as far as I'm concerned, I would like things to actually just go together at that point. But maybe this is my ill and irritated brain saying this.
she's probably
Yeah, same thing on these next chords, which are G minor and D. Which is not a sequence we've had before, but we have had both of those chords before. This section is coming when the previous section we just went straight through these chords in the previous verse. That's what happened. So again, we've got a different coda, different suffix to the verse, which is really fun. It's a really fun thing to have. Okay, and that's like some E flats and some B flats on D, kind of. But because we've got this phasing relationship with that sax, it doesn't quite feel like the chords are very strong in themselves. But we've definitely got this bass line doing that, while this is going like that, which is interesting. It's an interesting thing. And now things are taking off again. Yeah. Ah, okay. Let's see that again. Some evil man or woman on this. We've got an F sharp and an F somewhere in there. I can't work it out. It's actually not quite that, is it? Oh yeah, it's actually the real hellish way round, right? So we're going there to like a D minor chord with an F in the bass, I think, and the saxophone, which has been let rip on this previous section, F sharp and F at the same time. Lovely stuff. Yeah. So G, that. Then we're at E. We get a bum, 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 chromatic line up. E flat, E, C. No, E, E flat, E, F. I called it C because this E is on a C chord. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. We've got two different vocal melodies here, haven't we? Have we had that for a while? Let me just check. No, so they're just locked in. So it's and it's something like that. So they're both following the same path at the same time, and then yeah, we do have two. Oh gosh, let's have a look at the lyrics. Just enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just enough. I'll project. Just enough, I'll project. So like right as it ends, just enough, I'll project. The other voice continues to finish that enough, but the I project takes over, and then we get a similar thing on the next one. Yeah, that time. Fill my cup. When cup hits, I get wet comes after it. Fill my I get wet. So they're doing 3-syllable things, aren't they? And they're overlapping so that we get this constant flow of words. Same thing there, sort of. Get me up. I get dry. And then dry takes a little bit longer than previous. I get dry. And then You Make Me Laugh Babe comes in as that's all going on. You make me laugh, babe. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I don't know what it means, but yeah, really nice that they're properly contrapuntal there. One finishes, the other starts, that finishes, the other starts, and so they're really just filling all available space. And we've ended, yep, on E flat, as we did last time we got the flurry of chords here. So we should expect another change to that F sharp. Let's see. There it is. So now we've got the I'm going to take away the lyrics because they give me too much help. And I just don't like reading. We've got now the R's and the other voice. So we've got the main tune, da 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 da, that one, da 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 do 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 do. And we've got we've got both of them at the same time, as well as the bass just moving in that predictable manner as it did before. Did we just? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Same as. Okay. The saxophone is playing in thirds with the others, doing that kind of thing. There's also some slightly fun rhythms going on in this next bit. I think it's really just what the drums have been doing the whole time, but maybe with a little more movement. But yeah, we've got those 2s against 3s. Maybe it's the melody. Let's just check the melody. Yeah, okay. I'm a walking TikTok trend. So that's a proper, well, proper 3. Do we get a but after it? Yeah. I'm a walking TikTok. No, it doesn't do that though, does it? It goes, I'm a walking TikTok trend, but because... Is that right? TikTok trend, but just lean into it. I'm a walking TikTok. Nope. I'm a walking TikTok trend, but the colors run. We don't have that much time though, do we? Yeah, colour runs out is quick 2, isn't it? After we've gone, I'm a walking TikTok trend, which is 4, the colour runs out, just a 2. It's fun in that it's irregular, but it does make it harder to remember for a lot of people when things are less repetitive in that respect. Yeah, and it's nice to just... so, I haven't mentioned it, but we do have a 4 there for the first... well, each time it's come, actually, it's been a 4. It's been a 3 in the end. So there's like a 3 plus a 4. 7. Well done. And that's happened each time, I believe. But I haven't mentioned it. But there we go. There's a lot going on in this. We've been talking about this for a long time, and it's only 3.5 minutes long. Okay. So we're back to our verse kind of feel. Maybe we're going to have a sax solo off this one. Wow, some crazy kick drum stuff there. Here it comes. Yeah, it's just giving us the triplet offbeats. That's really fun. You wouldn't normally get that in the kick drum, really, because the kick drum is so influential on the sound. It normally is, well, you know, it's reserved for fills, little bits of intricacy. It's not normally used for a specific extra bit. Like this would be something that would fit really nicely in, maybe even a slightly reggae feel on the hi-hat, but that's not happened here. It's been done all on the kick drum, which is fun. Okay, we've gone to a strange place here, which is, the strange place we went to that time after the first verse, but now all the instruments are in. And we only went there for a little bit of time, and now we're back to F major. Nice. And the drums have stopped, and now we're just getting some R's, some long vowels, long notes. We're not doing anything intricate now. No ostinato extra note. We're not getting that coming through. It's just that kind of thing. Okay, apart from the saxophone, who is showboating a little. Nice. There's some lower voices holding these chords. Where are we? I thought we would be there, but we're not. Yeah, we're there. And there's one. Nice one coming through in the left headphone. Okay. there's that unexpected C chord, which has come in unexpected places 3 times in the song. And it just for the end there gives us that chromatic line. Fun. And then ending on an E flat. Well, that's really fun. That's really fun. Disrupting where we would expect it to go. Maybe if we continued that, we could have the E flat fit a bit better. But instead it follows the circle of fifths. But again, we've talked about that, haven't we? How it felt like the 4 there. It feels like the 4 here. And normally, then that would do this upwards tertiary shift. What did I call that? It's like the rock bitch or something. I can't quite remember what I called it. But it's basically that. It's the rock. Yeah, anyway. We end on the subdominant, on the 4 chord, and so it feels like we're moving somewhere else. Where are we moving? The big spin? There is something it might just be, again, because I'm ill, but it is something I've felt on previous Black Country New Road albums. The mix is a little oppressive. With all the natural instruments, it should sound really pristine and beautiful, but it often sounds quite aggressively compressed. And it's a shame, because I think there's probably a better way of doing it. And that's what I just got hit with here. It looks like we're in E major. Okay. There's a sequence I'm a fan of. So something like that. It's 1 to a 6 to a flat 6 to a 5. Now, can I remember any songs which do this? I annoyingly can't. So it's one of the classic things. To have that 6 before it is pretty unusual, but you do get that a fair amount of time. That's a semitonal shift. I also came up with names for semitonal shifts. I'm just going to look it up. What did I call this one? Semitone shift. And so this one is the because we're bringing it back into where we would expect to be, or we're moving it somewhere new, but whatever we're doing, it's pretty clear, right? But then this is, what would that be, like a 6 minor to a flat 6? That's a oh yeah. All right, I'm too self-satisfied. Moving on. We're in 3 again, actually, which is interesting. Faster 3 this time. We're changing chords every 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I think we've got a swing again as well. Might be in like 3s inside 3s. Yeah, we definitely have 3s inside. Well, we definitely have swing, and then we have just one bit of 3 just at the end there with that nice melody. Must be. So that's just a little chromatic bit there, and this let's hear it one more time. which is fun. The is really good, that move, because fits with the chord before, and then just as we go to, we move to a chord which can accommodate that. That's a C sharp at the top there, and we had a C chord underneath it. You see how that would sound quite aggressively discordant, whereas that sounds almost twee by comparison. And we've got a nice slide up there, which we missed that time. Yeah. All the way up to the F sharp there, the 9 of the chord. We haven't got a 7 in there, so it's just an added note, but it's nice, not what you expect at all. And then, yeah, okay. Holding that G sharp from the previous chord. And that's actually where we end up going. It's the other world sequence. Now, I've actually used this exact key change in one of my songs, if you want to have a listen to the Universal Bloodshot. I'm slightly more aggressive with it because these chords are almost interchangeable in my version, because they have so many. Right, yeah, so we've got all 6 notes that we're hoping for there. I think actually we could do with a 9 coming in, no, a 9 coming in somewhere, but we haven't got space for that. And then it goes to the same thing but off the G sharp. A lot of notes in common, but they sound very, very very different because of the root. And because of the discordance of the chords. Just makes a very complex feel. Anyway, that's more about my song, but this one, it doesn't do quite that, but it does have that sharp 11 in the D chord, and that leads the way to that G sharp major chord, which is really fun. It's twisting away other worlds, tritone substitution, key change, if you like, but yeah, just absolutely twisting from one place to another as fast as possible. We do have the 7th in there though, and the sharp 11 actually. So I take it back. They've basically done the same as I did. Sharp 11 chords, a sharp 11th away from each other. It's a really fun idea.
Chopped off your arms, chopped off your beautiful body.
Yeah, same thing. It's starting to grate on me. Just too happy clappy for me. Too sort of old jazz. But we've got the same sequence, same melody. The timbre has changed, hasn't it? The texture. We've got rid of some of the instruments here. It sounds like we've got piano in this song rather than harpsichord, which is probably a welcome change. The guitar has disappeared, I think. Oh no, we've got acoustic guitar, but we had, I think, an electric guitar in the previous place. Nice to come back for, just to come back for that, and I think maybe the sax came back just for that. Oh no, it's a guitar. I think there's a chance that's like an electric violin or something, but yeah. Yeah, some really clashy chords there. That's the good stuff. Really avoiding the E flat there for that, the D sharp for that chord. We've got a D and an E. Yeah, going for that flat 13, sharp 11, confusion of the whole tone scale, which actually both those chords fit in, don't they? The only thing that doesn't is the 5th. So if we have that chord and then that chord, it works quite nicely. Yeah. So you need to avoid the 5ths. in order to make them work in the same sound world, which is the whole tone scale, which nonetheless feels like different worlds colliding, the whole tone scale as is. So there we are.
Make room for the living.
Different, slightly different chord sequence there. Let's hear that again.
Make room for the living.
Yeah, mostly the same. But instead of the 6 chord, we got something which is more like a third inversion E chord, maybe with a 9th on. Maybe it's more of a D chord, but somewhere in there, E to D to C to B, which would be the Andalusian cadence, which normally has a minor chord to begin with. That kind of thing. But yeah, this time with a major chord at the beginning, which is an interesting change. Same kind of thing there. Just that G sharp. It's a really strong change. And then just bringing it back to the E is really strong too. This one though, even though it's playing with some quite crazy changes, and this again is our epic change, epic tertiary shift, epic troll, epic cyclops, epic Pegasus. Epic Pegasus is quite nice, isn't it? That's our epic Pegasus. Even though it's doing those things, it's more regular than the previous song. The previous song was full of unexpected changes, but here, even though we've had one irregularity, mostly we've been following the same chords in the same order, with often the same melody. So that's something. What's really fun about this, though, is how the drums and other instruments in this particular verse section, they've been used to enunciate what's going on, rather than to specifically be just an accompanying rhythm section instrument. They're just adding interjections in. Let's hear it again. For instance, there, and then it's not really here, but then a little bit of a fill, but the fill continues on. We've got the sax in now, giving its counter melody, and then yeah, the drums just giving us some extra big roll, and then just disappears. Okay, now yeah, here we've gone into a big spacey area. We've got very, very fast back and forth on that A major 7 chord from the guitar. That's the most present rhythmic instrument now. We've gone up into a higher range for the voice. Oh yeah, and did something like that. So an A and then F sharp chord on an A sharp. Very classic chromatic change. But it is a tertiary shift. What do I call that one? A. That's like a 1 to a 6. Oh, that's the jazz bear. Okay, yes, the jazz bear. Because if you go, the bare necessities of life come to you. You see, that's why. Anyway, it's the jazz bear. That's what's happening here. The bare necessities. That's what we're expecting. And we do actually go back to E, so that's not so expected. Yeah, what else is there? There's the saxophone is hanging around. The piano is doing stuff as well, but it's much more murky. It's just, yeah, filling up this room kind of thing. Okay, so we did go back to E. We we didn't go back to any thing we were expecting to do from E. We just held it for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 8 beats. Now we've been in 3s. So to hold it for 8 feels very uncomfortable. But maybe this wishy-washy texture was what we used to change the feeling to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that's the case. Let's hear it one more time. Certainly that's what the drums seem to think. But the melody going, come back this year. Well, it can work in that way, but it can also be come back this year. And that would make a lot of sense too. So we've got things fighting for rhythmic dominance, I guess. The drums are very much telling us we're now in 4. Much clearer there. Wasn't quite that melody-wise, but what's important about that melody is it's using a chromaticized note. I mean, to be honest, there have been a few in this so far. We've been playing with G and G sharp. And I don't think we've sung the C, but it's been in there. But yeah, we have sung G and G sharp, so we have been playing more with chromaticism in this one, whereas the previous one was more based in those pentatonic melodies. Maybe we'll get the beats. Nice jump up of a 6th there. I think it could have been sung a bit stronger, but there we are. Another 6th. 2 6ths in the same kind of way. It's nice. 6th, a very passionate kind of powerful sound. Same kind of thing there. Those very fast back and forth. I think we've got some mandolin in there as well now. Oh, but this time onto a G sharp minor, which is not a very uncomfortable change from the sharp chord there. It's just unexpected because we haven't had one yet. Yeah, and the melody doing the arpeggio of it. Going very high up to that D sharp up there. D sharp minor chord. Okay, and now we are in whimsy territory. Everyone's moving together. Ba, da, 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 da. Yeah, we've got thirds between the saxophone and the melody, which are starting to get annoying for me. Yeah, thirds overused somewhat. Yeah, and the other instruments are doing the same kind of notes. I don't think we have a full 3-note chord. Yeah. So we had this kind of thing in the previous one, didn't we? Where we had thirds moving by themselves in dyads. And then where do we end up? And we end up at E. Okay. So yeah, we used that section. Get back to 3. I think this is something I try to avoid with my own compositions, sort of hiding the changes behind what do you call it? A section that is obfuscated by itself, right? It has no clarity to it, and therefore, when you emerge on the other side, you can be anywhere you like because you were everywhere just before. I don't think it's a very effective thing to do. I would advise them to stop doing it. Don't be shy. If you have a big change between 3s and 4s, you need to just get that. You need to just have that in. I don't think you need to hide it behind space. But that is what they've done. I imagine there are some people who think that that's an effective thing to do. So there we are.
The thread linking our bodies with each.
Yeah, how did that work? Thread linking our bodies. That's interesting. So before was our melody. This time we go one further on that whole tone scale. Thread linking our bodies. And so we do get a moment where we have that C sharp and C at the same time, and then they move in opposite directions. C sharp up to D sharp, C down to B, and then they beautifully match on that D chord. We're back to our verse section now. Or you could probably say this was the chorus. A little bit of woodblock. Let's hear it again. Yeah, really fun. Just using extra bits of the kit there. Yeah, lovely. Just a little bit of extra texture, isn't it? I don't know why it's not used more often. Whereas in this section, it feels like the drums are really only giving us... Maybe I've just lost the top part of my hearing, but are they just giving us a kick drum? Okay, maybe a bit of hi-hat as well, and now they've come in with some cymbals. That was really nice whole tone stuff there. Yeah, good drum roll, and in thirds, going up like this, and then they go up really fast on the piano, probably in 2 hands. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good, and the saxophone is going at the same time. I don't know. I mean, Giorgia Ellery's meant to be in this group, right? I haven't heard much violin at all. Maybe she's just not playing violin on this. She might be doing the mandolin, I suppose. Okay, so this time it's a much more clear change between those 3s and the 4s. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And doesn't it work better? Doesn't it work better? Isn't it clearer and nicer? And it's not as if it's uncomfortable or unwieldy. They're not so different that it feels really off-putting. That was weird, wasn't it? And then the chord disappears. The only thing that carries on is the melody with that unexpected, I guess, A sharp, although we've heard it before, so it's not too unexpected, and the drums. So it's clearly intended just to make that note really stick out. Which is a shame because it's a little bit sharp, isn't it? Maybe it's intended that way. To join us. Nice to have the rapidly tremolo things at the same time as the drums are keeping the rhythm as well. I like that. It's important also to say that we're no longer in a swing time when we're in that 4 section. The 4 section has standard semiquavers. It's only in the 3 section where we feel swingy or in triplets. Okay, yeah. So did we go to the G sharp there again? No. That's not a G sharp this time. Let's just check it was a... Yes, it kind of is. What's wrong with it? Yeah, I'm not really sure. That's doing the right thing. It just isn't clear. Is it the bass? Yes. Yeah, the bass is on C sharp. So we get this this cool, well, minor 9, but we've got no third in that. So it's a G sharp minor on C sharp. And then when we get to the D sharp minor, that fits a whole lot better. But we have this weird miasma over the chord before. Fun. Yeah, same thing again here. But this time without the saxophone, we've just got piano and guitar.
Step on the thread.
Step on the thread. Yeah, again, we're back to E.
The purple thread linking my head to the root.
Purple thread linking my head. No, it can't be that, can it? Let's hear that again.
Thread linking my head to the...
Linking my head to the roof. But we haven't got the full chords here. Yeah, interesting. So we got back to our verse section, kind of. We've got the E chord, but then we didn't have the C sharp minor chord afterwards. We just went straight to that C. And these chords really are just a bass note with a melody. And the melody's in octaves with the piano and the voice, the piano and the voice.
Linking my head to the root.
And that's interesting because that's not a B chord there. And that 7th jump is what we get in the normal thing. Yeah, so it's as if we just missed out the B and the C sharp chord there, and we're just going between the E and the C, and we really get, therefore, that C sharp versus C feel there, that really discordant feel. And then, yeah, back to the E chord, but we've not got an E in it, we've just got the B and the G sharp, which give us enough. The F gives us something else, but we know where we are.
We won't worry, it will grow.
We won't worry, it will grow. Not quite, is it?
Worry, it will grow. We won't worry, it will.
Right. We won't worry, it will grow. We won't worry. No. We won't worry, it will grow. So that's more or less an E Lydian scale, because we've got that, well, feels like a B flat in there, but it's really an A sharp going up to a B there. Yeah, I guess they're both A sharps. A sharp going down to G sharp here, up to B there. So that sort of clears. That's a horrible 7th, but then we get that minor 3rd, and that's 6th, the F sharp and the D sharp, and then finally a lovely 3rd for this E at the end. Is that the end of the song? That would be a really nice way to end it. Unexpected. Seems so. Wow. I don't think there's much chance of me getting through Socks, which is 6 minutes long in half an hour. But I'll give it a go.
I thought it once, I thought it well, and maybe even time could tell that all I know.
Alright, I'll just say we're in D, but we've just had some chromatic movement taking us to maybe E minor. Nice augmented chord there. Yeah, E flat augmented, I guess. G augmented. Augmented chords are all the same.
Could fit into a little tiny box.
Yeah. Again, we've got melody just going between in different octaves between the melody and the piano. And then they go into thirds. Little tiny box for some chromatic movement down. It's pretty austere and weird.
And all the world would laugh and
Okay, we've got our downwards melody thing we had from the first song. Going from G to E minor, basically.
lose their socks.
And to D. So it's like 4, 3, 2, 1, except we're probably not doing a 3 chord. Because 3 chords are rarely utilised.
And all the world would laugh and lose their
That sounds pretty like a 3 chord though. You can tell because we've got this slightly weaker kind of thing than what you normally get, which is more like. But yeah.
socks.
Okay. Not a clear sense of how many beats in a bar at the moment, although that might be clearing up at the moment, but we've got that da da da, like triplet kind of thing. Da 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 da, da 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 da. But it's not a triplet, is it? Because triplets are even, bam bam bam. But this is more like da 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 da. I think, anyway. Let's hear it one more time. No, it's pretty much a triplet, isn't it? Da 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 da. Okay. We're pretty much in D major at this point. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, we were getting some violin there, weren't we? Let's hear that again. Yeah, that's a weird melody. It wasn't quite that, was it? Come on now. So it gives us that D major even when we're over that E flat. This is, yeah, our lovely, what do you call it? Double harmonic? It's not double harmonic though, but it's Phrygian sharp 3 is really what that is. Okay, but then we're back to our G and our G augmented kind of thing. So we've got these two different sound worlds, one based around D with a bit of E flat, and then we've got this G one as well. C. Oh. Well, it's a C with an augmented fourth in it.
How many things can one read till they feel they're not afraid?
Again, we've got twos and threes. How many things are there? 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah. So we're playing with threes a lot in this album so far. There's that chord again.
How many cases of words am I being
Nice big high
upset
violin
with?
note.
I'm having a whale of a time.
Ride cymbals.
But if the world could consume all the things.
A little bit of a added reverb there, just as we switched sections there. Let's hear that one more time.
I'm having a whale of a time.
It's about here.
But if the world could consume all the
then it's
things
gone
that
again.
you knew we'd be living, the life a contender for a wife we'd be.
It's an interesting chord sequence. Where are we? Yeah, it's basically more of a sort of Phrygian sharp 3 feel, but we get that extra chord, a B flat. It's for our rock change, our Rocky Reindeer change. That's what we called it. There we go. Yeah. And the melody's just going in the same way as the chords there, which is, yeah, something that's come up quite a lot here. We've got a lot of parallel movement in these songs.
Having love, wish I could make them laugh.
And then we've also got a lot of contrapuntal movement with the violin melody there doing a totally different thing to the other parts.
Be living the life a contender for a wife we'd be. Having love, wish I could make them laugh. Joke, there comes the truth. I am not blind.
Here comes the truth. Suddenly in F minor. I didn't quite understand the harmony there, so I'm going to go back.
The life a contender for a wife we'd be.
That's what my problem was. I was doing it on G. It's actually on C. So we have the C, D flat, and the E flat working in a very similar way to what I thought was G, A flat, and B flat. It's not, it's there. And then that makes sense going to the F minor.
Wish I could make them laugh.
Yeah, there's some sort of B flat minor stuff there.
Comes the truth. I am not.
And now we're into real threes again. Da 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 ba da.
Blinded by my youth.
Blind. A sixth up. And then we get that resolution. That's very classical kind of thing.
The 5 years had their time, but you sit in a lane.
Okay, yeah, so really that F minor was a bit of a red herring, because after this we're really sitting around A flat instead.
Much like mine.
Sort of. There's a B flat major chord though, so that's putting paid to that idea. This is giving more of the Ants from Up There sound world, I think, this particular song. While the voice is obviously totally different, we do have more of those sparser textures, which that album had quite a lot of, where there wasn't much movement, and there was a lot of natural instruments like the piano, like the violin. So we're getting that kind of open world feel here as well. and the complexity of the song also fits in there. I would say it's more complex really than anything that was going on that album. Maybe they're trying to push themselves in that respect here.
What's left is far beyond the problems that are listed. It may be easy, just believe me that
Back to sort of 3s and 2s. Maybe easy. Simple thing, but now we're in B flat major. How did we get there? I don't really know.
life holds a light no life has held before.
Yeah, and we're building up instrument by instrument. Let's hear that build.
That are listed.
So this is just the two of them. There's the guitar and the saxophone. Maybe 2 saxophone lines. The violin. I always mistake the violin for saxophone. It's really crazy. I don't know what I'm missing in my ears. But anyway, yeah. We've got the saxophone and the violin, and then the bass. Okay, and the bass gives us some unexpected dissonance with that A flat, and then bringing us to A. So we've got a lot of semitonal shifts around here. That's so weird, and the violin's doing the same thing. So we just make both of those chords 7 chords with a 7 in the bass, and then we shift up or down a semitone. It's strange. And again, we're playing with 2s and 3s. We've gone into where we were in a 3, like 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and now we're 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very different feel. Yeah, so from that A to the G, A on G, then we just go to the G. We've got again a kind of whole tone feel just for that moment. That's really nice. But then when we move to the E flat, because that's the sharp 11 and the flat 13 again. That would be a nice consonant note, but instead we go all around that. Yeah. And we're just going between these. It's our epic chord sequence again, but because we've got that joining it, that particular 3-note melody, it doesn't feel like they're too far from each other, even though there's a big dissonance pulling away. And we're building.
Maybe you're speaking away.
And we lessen the tension. Yeah, so as everything came in there, we lost a few of the instruments. We lost the violin, we lost the saxophone, and the texture became a little less heavy. The drums went to some more high frequency stuff, so we were getting rid of a lot of that boomy sound from the lower instruments and from some of these extra instruments, and we've diminished it down so that now it's a more straightforward texture and it feels more comfortable.
Maybe you're speaking a way that makes it seem like I was born yesterday, but I'm not afraid of it all.
It's a bit Fiona Apple, isn't it? I can't demonstrate Fiona Apple, but trust me, go and listen to some Fiona Apple. I think you should see some similarities. So a lot of added sharp fourths to these chords. That's a C chord, but we've got a F sharp on it.
There'll be a lover who's seen a free coat, but it's all in the shed.
Yeah, this is often the extra chord that comes after those ones as well, is that 4 chord. Get the 1, the flat 6, and the 4, which I know happens on the worm part of Starship Trooper by Yes. That's where I recognise it most strongly from. It's what I associate with the most epic sounding of chord sequences because of that song. But it's also in a lot of places like Go With the Flow by Queens of the Stone Age. It has slightly different feel because the chords don't feel as major. They're missing some notes. So it could just be that they're appropriate to the key. They don't feel as again, world-changing as they do when it's all major. But here it's all major. So that's interesting. Again, we've lost loads of other instruments, haven't we? So we had this section kind of earlier, but the piano is a whole lot lower. Let me try and find it. Okay, it's probably just after this, yeah. Okay, it's not. The life a contender for wife would be. It's not there, is it? Is it after here? No.
The truth, I am not blinded by my youth. The 5 years had
It should be just before that. Yeah, so here it is basically. Okay, so it is this bit. But if the world could consume all the things that you knew, we'd be living the life. I don't think we had this part. It's this next part. Wish I could make them laugh. Yeah, so that. So the F to the E flat there. There comes the light, and we must try. Okay. C chord. No word or phrase has the power to say. Yeah, so it is the same, but it's not as straightforward here. The piano is rhythmically distinct from what happened before, and frequency spectrum distinct. It's been moved down at least 1 octave, maybe 2 octaves. It's down there now. The melody is still in the same place, but the piano is using its full potential, using those low strings, very aggressive and dark sounding, aren't they? It's far greater than rare, oh yeah. In dark there comes the light. Okay, same kind of thing here. We got a little bit of violin there, didn't we? So we do. Works very nicely. Does not. Interesting sax lines. The sax is basically the chaos factor in this group, along with the drums, I would say. It's very difficult to predict what the saxophone is going to do. That house by the bay, there's no place. Did we have that last time? I can't remember. But we have kind of had the same thing twice, but with different textures each time, and that's been very fun. It's an interesting thing to play with, and sort of something that a lot of people are not going to find very interesting, I imagine, but that's just because they aren't interested in the finer things in life, are they? We don't have to just do the same lyrics or the catchy melody. We can play with lots and lots of things, and texture is absolutely one of those. In fact, really, texture is what most pop songs play with more than anything, isn't it? They don't play with structure. That I'd rather stay.
I'll stay there right till the day.
There it is again. Big. Oh yeah, we did have that big B flat chord, and that was our new home for the next section. I remember.
You shall pass, I too shall pass, all things must pass like.
So I think we got last time, didn't we? Some moving down chords, sort of like that, and we've sort of got that again, but now it's up at the top of the piano. They're really letting this piano guy, lady, I don't know what her name is, annoyingly. The only one I know the name of is Georgia Ellery. And I know Isaac Wood as well, but he's not in the group. There's plenty of other people in the group, but the person playing the piano is really using it to a great degree. We haven't heard any ridiculous high saxophone. We haven't heard any particularly low saxophone. We've heard a lot of sort of mid-range. Violin, maybe we've heard a little more of the extent of the violin. Not really of the bass, although we've heard a few higher notes. We've definitely heard some fun stuff from the drums, some extra percussion, and to be honest, minimal drums a lot of the time. So it really makes a difference when the drums use those extra things that they have. But yeah, and we've had a few different guitar textures, I suppose. But it's really the piano that is guiding us here. It's almost present all the time. Maybe because she's the principal songwriter now. But as well as that, it's really colourful. Piano is the most colourful instrument, really, anyway, apart from maybe organ. But it's really being used in a vast array of different ways, which is fantastic. It's exactly how you should hope to use piano on a piece of music.
Days they pass from one to
And we've got that sustain on as well, so everything's just washing into one.
I know now that life is good.
Okay, and then as the other instruments come in, we get that swing rhythm, the swing threes, which is interesting that it's just absent just before that. Yeah, a lot of playing with rhythm, a lot of playing all together.
I'll feel understood to you if you dare let me know. And now here comes the chorus for when all is said.
Really? Yep.
Do you if you dare let me know. And now here comes the chorus for when all.
Here comes the chorus. Cheeky. It's very emotional and very sort of heartfelt, other than that. So it's really cheeky to put in Here Comes the Chorus.
Is said, and what's left is far beyond the problems that.
So it's not a very important point, but in that chord here, we do have the seventh, which is a nice bit of extra tension. We don't always, when this particularly classic sort of going down sequence doesn't always have the seventh there. So having it here makes it feel a little more classy, a little more classical. And then I think instead of going to a minor chord here, we actually go to that 4 chord, but in first inversion. Okay, just before this section, we'll go back again. Hey. No, it does actually feel like a minor chord there. Maybe it was a couple of times beforehand. And here, bum, gum, again, playing with those twos and threes. This isn't Adam Neely music, is it? It's not Sungazer doing 7s and 11s or whatever. Oh, nested tuplets inside 3s inside 7,000s. It's not doing anything crazy with numbers, but the 2s and 3s are enough to add a vast variety of different rhythmic feels.
Beyond the problems that are listed, it may be easy just
Yeah, oh yes, and this is our B flat to B flat on A flat to A flat and G. Crazy section. Yeah, and that. We get the, yeah, I think we get that and we get that, so we get a real Hendrix chord of an A chord. Yeah, powerful note.
time was on my side, I would ask him to return to a
We're back to a similar kind of thing here, but we've got a really nice texture on the hi-hat and the ride cymbal. Maybe just on the ride cymbal, but I think it's a mixture.
I would ask him to return to a mode.
So yeah, no, the hi-hat is in there as well, but we've got these these nice hits of high frequency stuff. We haven't got that much in this album. It's all been sort of, you know, the mid-range mostly. So it's nice to get these breaks of high frequency.
A great concern, which moment to pick.
We've got a lot of other things going on. The saxophone is doing its own thing, and the melody is also. A lot of other things are just moving down.
Time to select. There are so many chances, steeped in regret. No matter which one you choose, baby, you're all.
I don't think we've had that before. We had a 4-3-2. Maybe we had that at the
He's
beginning.
gonna lose. Well, that's what the demons say. I never liked those guys anyway.
But it's a really nice way to continue that. We've gone 1, 7, 6, 5. So 4, 3, 2 is really nice. And then yeah, it seems like we're just going to piano now. There's something strange in there. Is that just the violin? I guess it must be. About here. Okay, and then yeah, we get that chromatic thing. I think we got that at the beginning. Gosh, though, that was a complicated song with lots going on. Yeah, we did get that at the beginning. But I think in the beginning, was it in a different key? Oh, let's go back and see, shall we? We've got a tiny bit left at the end.
I thought it was
So, not right at the beginning.
would fit into a would laugh and loose their socks.
Oh yeah, we had this. Okay, maybe we didn't.
And one read to how many if the world could consume all the things.
Yeah, okay, maybe not. Maybe we had it in the middle.
Far beyond the
Okay.
faults, a light no life has held before.
So this is the section we just had. So did it come straight after this? No, I don't think it did, because this went... Yeah, it went strange. And then it went, yeah, this just goes straight into the G. So where do I know that section from? Is it from the previous song? Nice to have 3 statements of that first chord. Again, slight classical influence there. I mean, quite a big classical influence through all of this. I know these guys are very well trained. I will have a look for that extra reference, and if I can work out where it is, I will make sure to cover it in the future. But as for now, I've I did manage to more or less do that song in a little bit of a shocked and confused way within the time frame, and I am really enjoying the amount of light behind me at the moment. That's pretty scary. Anyway, yeah, that's good. I'm not going to do one on Thursday this week because I'm travelling. I will do another one on the next Tuesday. Love you. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely life. Bye bye.